The Retzer Engineering Agency's overseas projects span the globe. The first and second episodes, as well as part 1 of episode 3, have already introduced projects in 6 Southeast Asian countries and regions along the western coast of Saudi Arabia bordering the Red Sea, including Taif, Jeddah, Yanbu, and Abha. This episode, part 2 of episode 3, continues by showcasing projects in Riyadh, Unaiza, and Jubail in Saudi Arabia, including the Saudi radar stations, as well as projects in Jordan and Bahrain. Episode 4 will follow with an overview of Retzer Engineering Agency's projects in Africa, the Americas, the Pacific Islands, and the Indian Ocean region. Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, is located at the center of the country. In 1979, the Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook the construction of the Riyadh King Abdulaziz Military Academy. The project owner was once again the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, marking the extension of Retzer Engineering Agency's operations in Saudi Arabia from the western coast to the eastern region. The King Abdulaziz Military Academy is situated approximately 50 kilometers from the city of Riyadh, and the project was completed in March 1983. In 1981, the Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook the Riyadh Water Transmission Pipeline System project, which included 4 pumping stations located in Jubail, Duran, Shagra, and Idofuf. After desalinating seawater from the Persian Gulf, the system transported it via pipelines and high-pressure pumping to the capital city of Riyadh, located 500 kilometers inland and 500 meters above sea level. This project was jointly undertaken by a multinational consortium composed of teams from Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Japan, Turkey, Switzerland, and the Retzer Engineering Agencies. It marked the first time that the Retzer Engineering Agencies participated in an international, multinational joint venture. The project was completed in 1983, successfully supplying the Saudi capital, Riyadh, with 830,000 cubic meters of clean water per day. This water transmission pipeline system, built in an environment with large elevation differences, adopted a long-distance, high-volume water delivery model. It was the first of its kind in the world and gained international recognition. In addition, in 1983, the Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook the construction of the Republic of China Embassy. The project was designed by the Taiwan's CECI and was completed in 1984. In 1985, the Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook the construction of the Riyadh Electronics Institute. The project was completed in 1989, and the quality of construction was highly praised by the client. Jubail is a newly developed industrial city in the northeastern region of Saudi Arabia. The Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook 4 projects in the area, namely, Jubail Community Development, Jubail Fertilizer Company's dormitories, Jubail Wastewater Treatment Plant, and dormitories for the University of Petroleum and Mineral. Among these, the Jubail Community Development Project began in February 1983 and was completed in February 1988. The Jubail Fertilizer Company's dormitories project began in July 1984 and was completed in January 1987. The Jubail Fertilizer Company was established through a joint venture between Taiwan Fertilizer Company and the Saudi government, with Taiwan Fertilizer providing personnel for the full operation and management of the plant. The Jubail Stage 3 wastewater treatment plant is located on the western side of the Jubail industrial city in the northwestern region of Saudi Arabia. The Retzer Engineering Agencies was responsible for the 3rd phase construction, commissioned by the Saudi government. Major works included 12 structures, plant-wide piping systems, and other general facilities. The 12 structures included 2 primary sedimentation tanks, 2 secondary sedimentation tanks, 2 aeration tanks, 1 primary digester, 2 secondary digesters, 1 irrigation water booster pumping station, and 2 irrigation water storage tanks. The scope of work for this project encompassed civil, structural, architectural, mechanical, piping, electrical, and instrumentation control systems. It was the most advanced wastewater treatment plant project the Retzer Engineering Agencies had ever undertaken overseas. The Saudi government highly recognized the Retzer Engineering Agency's technical expertise and construction quality. The project commenced in 1985 and was completed in 1988. In addition, the Retzer Engineering Agencies began construction of the dormitories for the University of Petroleum and Mineral in February 1985, and the project was completed in June 1988. The building features a unique design. The elevator shaft is located within a central core column, from which the dormitory units extend outward in a cantilevered structure. In October 1984, the Retzer Engineering Agencies expanded into the newly developed industrial area of Anaiza in northern Saudi Arabia, undertaking the construction of the Al-Hassa wastewater systems pumping station and pipeline works. This project was part of a 10-year development plan carried out by Saudi Aramco in the Al-Hassa community of Saudi Arabia's eastern province, and it was completed in March 1986. The Anaiza water purification plant, which began construction in 1985, included water treatment and supply pipeline works undertaken by the Retzer Engineering Agencies. The project was commissioned by the Ministry of Agriculture and Water of the Saudi government. The main components of the project included 10 deep wells, over 20 kilometers of buried pipelines, and, within the treatment plant, facilities such as a softening unit, a desalination unit, a chemical treatment unit, a sedimentation unit, and a filtration unit. It was a turnkey project. The client provided only the conceptual plans. All other engineering designs and water treatment process planning were carried out by the Retzer Engineering Agencies. From 1987 to 1996, the Retzer Engineering Agencies constructed classified Saudi radar stations in suburban areas across various regions of the country. These projects included the Saudi E8 radar station, Saudi E1 radar station, Saudi W1 radar station, Saudi N4 radar station, and the radar tower installation works. The total contract value for these projects amounted to 2.26 billion new Taiwan dollars. Jordan is a Middle Eastern country located in Western Asia, covering an area of 92,300 square kilometers with a population of approximately 10,660,000. It borders Syria to the north, Iraq to the east, Saudi Arabia to the southeast, and Israel and Palestine to the west. The Dead Sea lies along Jordan's western border, while the Red Sea is located to its southwest. Strategically, Jordan is situated at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Its capital, Amman, is the most populous city in the country and serves as the economic, political, and cultural center of Jordan. Jordan was the second country in the Middle East where the Retzer Engineering Agencies expanded its engineering operations. In 1974, the Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook its first highway project in Jordan, with a total length of 176 kilometers. The road stretched from the southern Jordanian seaport of Aqaba, running along the Jordan-Israel border, to Safi at the southern tip of the Red Sea. The project commenced in October 1974 and was completed in 1978. Crown Prince Hassan of Jordan presided over the opening ceremony, which was attended by Director Yen, who personally visited the construction site for the occasion. Subsequently, the Retzer Engineering Agencies undertook the construction of a 20-kilometer extension from Safi to Mazra'e. This section of the road ran along the Dead Sea at an elevation 380 meters below sea level, in a remote, uninhabited area with harsh, hot, and arid conditions. Undeterred by the difficulties, Retzer Engineering Agency staff completed the project in June 1981. Afterward, the Retzer Engineering Agencies subsequently undertook several projects, including the North Ring Road project in Amman, the capital of Jordan, the Sawaka to Hassa Highway project, and the Zarqa to Jerash Highway. The North Ring Road in Amman, measuring 8 kilometers in length, was completed on schedule in January 1982. The Sawaka to Hassa Highway was a widening and reconstruction project aimed at connecting the port of Aqaba to Iraq. It spanned a total length of 71 kilometers, with construction starting in 1981 and completed in 1986. The Zarqa to Jerash Highway project covered a total distance of 32 kilometers. Jerash is a historic and popular tourist city in Jordan. Construction began in October 1984 and was completed in December 1986. In 1985, the Retzer engineering agencies undertook a water supply, wastewater, and irrigation system project in Jordan. The Mafraq water supply and sewer pipeline project began in September 1985 and was completed in mid-July 1987. Central Jordan Valley irrigation project began at the end of January 1987. The scope of work included the construction of 39.7 kilometers of roads, 1,667 water outlets, 4 pumping wells, 3 operation rooms, and various other irrigation system facilities. The entire project was completed by the end of 1990. The Azraq-Iraqi border highway, located near the Jordan-Iraq border, spans over 250 kilometers and is divided into 4 sections, A, B, C, and D. Commissioned by the Jordanian government, the Retzer engineering agencies was responsible for Section D, the segment closest to the Iraqi border, which extends 70 kilometers in length. The final 3 kilometers of the highway were designed as an emergency runway. Construction began in November 1988 but was forced to halt in 1990 due to the outbreak of the Gulf War. At the time, the Retzer engineering agency's staff at the Azraq-Iraq construction site demonstrated a strong sense of national solidarity by assisting ROC nationals in evacuating from Kuwait, through Iraq, and along the partially constructed highway to Amman, where they were able to board flights back to Taiwan. Meanwhile, the Retzer engineering agency's staff remained at their posts and, upon resumption of work, accelerated construction. By November 1991, the first 40 kilometers were completed and handed over to the Jordanian government for early opening to traffic. The entire project was completed by mid-April 1992. Due to ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, the Retzer engineering agencies withdrew from Jordan in 1994. Bahrain is an island nation located in Western Asia, near the western coast of the Persian Gulf. Its capital is Manama. Bahrain Island is the largest island in the Kingdom of Bahrain, measuring 55 kilometers from north to south and 18 kilometers from east to west, with a total area of approximately 758 square kilometers and a population of around 1,234,000. Saudi Arabia lies to the west of Bahrain and is connected to it via the King Fahd Causeway. Iran is located about 200 kilometers north of Bahrain, while the Qatar Peninsula lies to the southeast across the Gulf. The region has a hot desert climate. Bahrain was the third engineering market in the Middle East that the Retzer engineering agencies entered, following Saudi Arabia and Jordan. The Retzer engineering agencies undertook 2 projects in Bahrain. The first was the site development works for the Arabian Gulf University. The scope of work included land grading, main arterial roads within the campus, water supply and drainage systems, potable water and sewage systems, electrical, telephone, and fire protection systems, as well as auxiliary facilities such as a vehicle service center. Construction began in the spring of 1985 and was completed in July 1988. Second project was the ISA Airbase project in Bahrain. Located at the southeastern tip of the country, the project involved the construction of a new runway, aircraft aprons, and buildings within the original Bahrain Defense Force military zone. The project was supervised by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, with a total contract value of 3.6 billion new Taiwan dollars. Construction began in May 1987 and was completed in May 1989. The introduction to Retzer engineering agencies' overseas operations is presented in 4 episodes. Following episodes 1, 2, and part 1 of episode 3, which covered projects in 6 Southeast Asian countries and regions along the Red Sea coast of Saudi Arabia, this episode highlights projects in Riyadh, Unaiza, and Jubail, as well as Saudi radar stations, and engineering projects in Jordan and Bahrain. Episode 4 will continue with an overview of Retzer engineering agencies' projects in Africa, the Americas, the Pacific Islands, and the Indian Ocean region. Stay tuned.